Kolkata. Kolkata, the city of joy, known for its vibrant culture, bustling streets, and famous landmarks. But hidden behind these lively walls and roads are secrets so dark they could send shivers down your spine. June 10, 2015. The residents of Robinson Street were alerted by a thick smoke billowing from a three-story house on their street. Alerted, they contacted the police for the smoke was coming from the house 3 Robinson Street. When the police arrived, what they found inside would haunt them for years to come. In the charred and burned body of a 77-year Aurobindo Dev was awaiting them. But investigation was far from over. Also, what they found was a skeleton of a woman fully clothed and a bag full of bones of dogs. Today, we delve into the story of the Day family, a story of mystery and unimaginable horrors, centered around the infamous house 3 Robinson Street. This is the story of Kolkata House of Horrors. June 10, 2015, as the investigators proceeded to search the house, they were surprised and a little scared when they heard a woman's voice softly chanting prayers. It turned out that there were small speakers in every room playing messages from Joyce Meyer, a famous American preacher. The only living occupant of the house was the 44-year-old Partho D, Aurobindo's son. 2 dead bodies and a single occupant found living. Of course, the suspicion fell on Partho. His disheveled look and his erratic behavior obviously pointed towards maybe his involvement in the crime. That is what everyone thought at the moment. But it was his confessions that sent shockwaves through the city. The story begins decades earlier in 1989. When a seemingly ordinary family moved into a sprawling house on Robinson Street. The Day family consisted of 4 members. The patriarch Aurobindo Day, his wife Aarti Day, and their 2 children, daughter Devjani and son Partho. Half of the house was occupied by Aurobindo's brother Arun and his family. The 4-story house was purchased by Partho's grandfather Gadadhar Day. Aurobindo's wife and Partho Day's mother, Aarti, passed away in 2005 from cancer. Although she had cancer, the family didn't take regular medical treatments according to other family. Aurobindo also decided not to cremate Aarti as the family believed that the soul was what is living on and the body does not matter. So they believed that her soul is still alive and that she is still around. Exactly why Partho and Devjani, both of the children of Aarti's, didn't attend her funeral. Aurobindo didn't even perform her last rites. He just said that he won't perform her last rites or cremate her. Consequently, the responsibility of cremating Aarti fell upon Arun Day, Aurobindo's brother. This sounds quite different if you think about it, like the mentality they have about cremating the bodies or performing the last rites. The Aurobindo Day's family thought that soul is what lives on and the body doesn't matter. Her death left the family fractured. Aurobindo, estranged from his children, lived in a secluded part of the house. Devjani, once a passionate music teacher, quit her job and isolated herself. Partho, too, retreated into his own world, haunted by the unresolved trauma and family tension. What drove the Days into the spiral of despair? Was it mental illness, family trauma, or something more sinister? Now, to give you a brief background of the house and how everyone was living in it. Aurobindo Day's family occupied the ground floor of the house on 3 Robinson Street, while his brother Arun Day's family occupied the other floor. And there was a dispute regarding who will own the house, a family dispute for the house. So both of the families never visited each other and they made sure that no one enters the floor of the other family. Aurobindo's family has always been very secluded. When Aarti and Aurobindo came to stay at the Robinson Street house after Aurobindo's father, Gadadhar Dey's death, Debjani and Partho were quite young children. But according to the residents and the neighbors, they were always very secluded. Like Partho and Debjani used to spend most of their time together and never had any friends. They used to stay very quiet, and their mother, Aarti, allegedly didn't even let them like go out or talk to other people or socialize in a sense. After Aarti's death in 2005, Debjani became more withdrawn. She was already very fragile, and then this passing of her mother had an effect on her mental health as well. She started staying alone in a room away from her father. Even her father stayed on another part of the floor that they were living in. So Debjani and Partho essentially shared a room while Aurobindo, their father, stayed in the another corner of the house. So they even did not see each other much, the children and their father Aurobindo. Debjani started spending all her time with their two dogs. She found solace in their company. Then tragedy struck. The dogs became ill one by one and succumbed to their illness. Debjani was further distraught. Then she embarked on a spiritual fast of a sort to cleanse the house, and she was already having all this stress on her and the grief. She was consumed with grief after the passing of her dogs as well. She started a fast where she wouldn't eat, like nothing at all. She wouldn't eat anything at all. And Partho knew about it, but he said that that was a cleanse and a spiritual need of Debjani's. After a while, due to her fast, Debjani finally succumbed. She died. Partho was still with her when that happened. So, the skeleton of the fully clothed woman found in the bed, along with Aurobindo's body, was the skeleton of Debjani Dey, Partho's sister. According to Partho, he took a chilling decision. He loved his sister so much that he did not seek help after her death, nor did he inform his father. He preserved her skeleton in the same bed, in the same room where she died. He meticulously cleaned her body, fed her, clothed her, and even slept in the same bed with the dead body of Debjani for around 6 months. The stench of the decay began to fill the house, but to prevent that from happening, Partho sealed the windows of the bedroom and the house as well. Partho claimed that he even bought pizza and other fast food that Debjani liked. See, this is very cynical in a sense. He was feeding a dead body, but he was so devoted to his sister that he thought that she was still living. And he bought pizzas and fast food for her and even fed the skeleton. Aurobindo, staying in another corner of the house, did not know about this. He was aloof about everything. He did not know that his own daughter had died in the same house. Partho told the police that his sister still visits him. On asking why he didn't tell or about his sister's death or cremate her, Partho said that I love Didi very much and she still visits me. That is why I feed her and spend time with her. He told that Debjani had fallen very ill on December 28th, passed away on the 29th of December. According to him, she visited him, sang to him, and talked to him. And he loved her so much that he just couldn't let her go. Aurobindo, staying in another corner of the house, was aloof from everything that was going or like unfolding in his house. His own daughter was dead and he did not know about it. If this wasn't unnerving enough, would you be surprised if I told you that the bag full of bones of dogs found was also preserved by Partho? Those were the bones and skeleton of their two beloved dogs. Partho had positioned the skeleton of the dog in such a way that their paws were touching so that they wouldn't feel alone in their passing. This is very uncanny if you think about it, but it also comes from a place of deep love and devotion that he was thinking about the dogs even in their death and how will they feel after passing. According to a former security guard, Aurobindo had discovered the remains of his daughter when he secretly went to the other part of the house while Partho was away. That was in March of the next year. Devjani had died in December of the earlier year. Aurobindo was oblivious to the death of his daughter for all these months, and she was there with Partho in the room under the same roof. After finding the remains of his daughter, Aurobindo succumbed to depression. He was already hurt by the passing of his wife, but after finding his daughter's remains, he went into depression completely. He started drinking a lot, and according to some reports, he even had liver cirrhosis. So Aurobindo became an alcoholic after his daughter's death. Then, on June 10 of 2015, Aurobindo's charred body was found by the police. Along with his body was a note that was signed off as "Love You Beta." Beta meaning son or dear in English. So it was, it must have been directed to Partho as he was the only living person of the family. According to the forensic reports, Aurobindo had set himself on fire. So it was a suicide, and there was no sign of any forced entry or any sort of a murder scenario, like another things like a knife or anything. No murder scenario in the case of the dead bodies. Neither Devjani's skeleton had any sort of trauma or anything. So she had passed away naturally. This was discovered during the post-mortem of both the body and the skeleton. So this was quite difficult to digest. I mean, Partho was the only thing that would connect to these murders. Like, he was the first person that the police had suspicion on, and they thought it was very easy. Like, the murderer was there and there were two bodies. But it was not the story. The story was very different, and Partho was maybe a victim himself. At the crime scene, police uncovered bundles of handwritten notes hidden in cracks, cushions, and closets. Devjani's entries were precise while Partho's were erratic, revealing deep-seated insecurities and fears. The handwritten notes revealed that the three family members primarily communicated with each other through these notes, despite living in the same house. What they also found was Partho's journal. Now, the entries found in Partho's journal were very, disturbing. I mean, there were entries that mentioned sexual stuff, some weird stuff. Like, one of the entries stated that when Partho and Devjani were away on a trip, Devjani had tried to seduce her brother Partho. And another entry stated that Partho's mother, Aarti Dey, thought that he was important and used to send a maid to his room to excite him. I mean, this gives an incestuous direction to the whole family scene. But looking at Partho's mental condition, it was difficult to believe or trust the entries directly. Partho was charged with trying to hide evidence and keeping dead bodies without reporting these incidents to the police. He had been charged under several sections of the Indian Penal Code, including those related to public nuisance and the spread of infectious disease, said a senior police officer. Medical professionals strongly recommended that Partho was admitted to a mental health facility. The court approved the recommendation and Partho was subsequently transferred to Pavlov Hospital, a facility specializing in mental health.
আমি আনলফুলি এখানে রাখা হয়েছে আমাকে উইদাউট মাই কনসেন্ট। I consider আমাকে কোনো ডকুমেন্ট রাখা হয়নি, so it is illegal to keep me here. আপনাকে ডাকছি। It's illegal to keep me here.
তুমি কি এখানে থাকতে চাইছো না এখান থেকে চলে যেতে চাইছো?
I am free citizen. I want to go to mother house. I have committed no crime, as no crime has been shown to me that I have committed. In fact, I have got there's a lot of property which is there in my name. I want to go to mother house. I want to donate. I want my only intention is to go to mother house.
মারা গেছে?
হ্যাঁ, আমাকে নিয়ে যাচ্ছে এখন।
আপনার বাবা কি
আমার কিছু মেডিসিন লাগবে না, আমার কিছু হয়নি।
পার্থবাবু, আপনার বাবা জানতেন আপনার দিদি মারা গেছে?
হ্যাঁ।
কবে জানতেন উনি?
উনি মার্চ 10 জানতেন, around that.
দেবযানী মারা গেল? দেবযানী মারা কি করে গেল?
উনি ফাস্টিং করেছেন, উনি খুব ধার্মিক, রিলিজিয়াস ফাস্টিং করে মারা গেল।
At Pavlov Hospital, Partho was diagnosed with depressive tendencies and placed under the care of psychiatrist Dr. Sabyasachi Mitra.
খুব ডিস্ট্রেস ছিলেন, অর্থাৎ একটা আতঙ্কের মধ্যে ছিলেন এবং খুবই অবসাদে ভুগছিলেন মনে হলো, ভয়ের মধ্যে ছিলেন, একটু রেস্টলেসও ছিলেন। দেখে মনে হয়েছে ওনার কিন্তু একটা মানসিক অসুখ এই সময় বিরাজ করছে। এটা আগে কতটা ছিল কি না ছিল সেটা আমাদের পক্ষে এখনই বলা মুশকিল, এবং অসুখটা যে কি সেটা স্পেসিফিক আইডেন্টিফিকেশন করাও একটা স্ন্যাপশট ইন্টারভিউতে সম্ভব না।
Partho was placed on medication and within a few days, his psychotic episodes subsided. He gradually warmed up to the doctors and began to confide in them. The whole family dynamic, all these notes and a parent not talking to their children while staying in the same house, while a mother not letting her children get social or be a part of the society, and the deep love or the too much affection of Devjani and Partho was unnerving and disturbing to the society, because this is something which is out of the normal for the people. The Indian media extensively covered this case. The house also came to know as the House of Skeleton and Hitchcock House, or the House of Horrors, after the whole incident. People were very involved in knowing what actually went down in the house. After being treated at the Pavlov Hospital under medical treatment for mental illness, Partho became better bit by bit. After a few months, he sold the house, the 3 Robinson Street, for a whopping 40 crores. He used that money to buy himself 11th floor resident in another part of Kolkata, where he stayed alone. Partho slowly started organizing and taking parts in festivals, started singing in some groups, festivals, and he was accepted by the society quite quickly. Testament to his recovery is an audio recording of Partho singing at an event organized for the mentally unwell. But alas, Partho wasn't as well as he seemed. On February 20, 2017, Partho posted a picture of himself on Facebook. The following day, on 21st, he shared a meaningful quote on social media. It's better to light a candle than to curse the darkness. However, just a day after sharing the quote, on February 22, 2017, Partho was found unresponsive in his apartment. The 45-year-old's body was found in the bathroom of his apartment, where he had been living alone after his treatment had finished. The scene eerily similar to that of his father's death, Aurobindo's. He was found in the bathroom, charred, with a gasoline can and a matchstick box near him, which pointed in the direction that Partho had also committed suicide. Everyone around him thought he was getting better, but something happened that Partho did not make it. He was not as okay as he seemed. He was not well enough. That is why he took such a big step. Police officers who interacted with Day described him as a sensitive individual with a passion for Tagore's songs. A copy of You Can, You Will by Joel Osteen, motivational book, was found in the apartment, suggesting Partho was seeking personal growth. Partho had also begun to write an autobiography for his own story, which he could not finish. But in his story, he wanted to tell people that he was not a criminal. He wanted to bring out a side of him, a real side of him that he wanted the society to know. Debjani and Partho both were B.Techs, and Partho was also working abroad in a good company. Debjani, on the other hand, had started learning music and taking music lessons. Both the kids, even in college, were only used to spend time with each other and never had any friends. They were very isolated since their childhood, and this might have played a role in their beliefs, the way that they thought. To this day, the Robinson Street house remains a mystery. I mean, what actually happened behind those walls? Was Partho too mentally ill, or were the shadows of his past too dark? The Kolkata House of Horrors became a chilling warning about the dangers of mental illness. It showed how isolation and hidden family problems can have terrible consequences. Now, if this story leaves you with the question or theories or any important information that I might have missed, you can mention that in the comments below. And if you like this story, please subscribe to my channel where I talk about true crime stories.